All right, welcome to the lunch break this Monday, August 4th. Glad you guys are going to be joining me today. Got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. Got a lot of things going from the weekend, and I know it's going to take a few minutes for everybody to jump on. But if you guys are on TikTok, hey, we do this every day at 12. Join the comment section. My job to answer your guys' question, kind of tell you about what all's going on. And there's some of my guys on YouTube and Facebook finally kicking on. Guys, it was a fantastic weekend. I actually got to do some fishing. And so if you guys got to fish a little bit as well, I want to hear about what you guys did. So um, got to go across the street, my first ever kayak fishing trip out of my own kayak. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. What's up, Tony, man? Hope you had a good weekend and all. Lots going on. Lots going on. Got a great live well tomorrow night at 8 p.m. What's up, John? Great live well. We're going to have Dylan Rilardo, and I hope I say that right. You guys may know him with Talking Tackle. He also he just qualified for the EQs and Bassmaster. He's going to be fishing. He won at Chesapeake. He's going to be fishing the Bassmaster Classic next year in Knoxville, in his home state. So that's going to be a pretty big thing. But he's going to be joining us tomorrow night. That's at 8 p.m. at FNGO on YouTube, guys. If you're watching it, let me move this little mouse here so I can see my comments over there. What's up, Atlanta Outdoors? Fred Ashcraft. The bite was on fire on the river. Well, tell me a little bit about it because we figured it out finally on Latham a little bit, but it wasn't the easiest bite we've ever had. What's up, Jonah? Trying to figure out how to fix an old two-stroke. Well, Rodney Hayes, 95, tough bite this weekend. Found him, but couldn't get him to bite. That's what we came across. And Danny did survive the kayak. But anyway, let's go ahead. We're gonna get into all this fishing talk. Let's go ahead and do what we normally do on the show to get it started. Let's do our day in history because I want you guys to have some useless knowledge that you can share around the office or whatever. And then our Gen Z word of the day. Okay, let's take care of that. So then I'll talk about all this scroll stuff I got in front of me too here in a little bit. So let's get started. On this day in history, August 4th, guys, we're going way back today. 1790, the U.S. Coast Guard has its beginning on this day as President George Washington signed a measure authorizing a group of revenue cutters to enforce tariffs, trade laws, and to prevent smuggling. All right? 1790, the Coast Guard got its, I guess you could say, start today. It wasn't called the Coast Guard, but it got its start today. That's a long time ago, guys. 1916, some more useless knowledge for you boys. In 1916, the United States reached an agreement to purchase the Danish Virgin Islands from Denmark for $25 million in gold. $25 million in gold. All right. I don't know who the hell's got $25 million in gold laying around, but evidently back in 1916 we did. All right. And then in 1984, here's my personal favorite. 1984, Purple Rain, the album Purple Rain by Prince and the Revolution began its 24-week run at number one at the top of the Billboard 200 record charts. Now, I'm showing my age, but I've probably seen that movie Purple Rain 552,000 times back in the day. Could go word for word. I thought Apollonia was a goddess. Love Prince, one of the most underrated guitar players out there. Absolutely. Now, listen, now that I've gone back and watched the movie as a 50-something-year-old, which I did a year or two ago, okay, the movie wasn't that good. It was great for the 80s. It wasn't that good. But the music lives on. The music is fantastic. By far, Prince is one of he dressed a little funny. He changed his name to a symbol, but he was one of the most talented individuals that has been on this earth during my lifetime, for sure. Absolutely. But yeah, 1984 this week, 24 weeks at number one. And I don't know how many of you young guys ever listen to that, but I can remember just watching that over and over and over again, just like I was in love, absolutely in love with Apollonia. I mean, she was fine. Went to let's see, 1980. Yeah, I was in the sixth grade. Now you can kind of see why I think the way I think. Starting on from about that time. I would say the women, it is some pretty useless knowledge, Steve Sturgeon. It is. But you'd be surprised. It might come up in a conversation at some point, and you know, and you can thank me for that. All right, so last useless thing today. Let's go on and let's jump on our Gen Z word or saying of the day. Now, this was new. This was new to me. And this is just how I think they're just making up garbage about this point right here. The word of the day, Gen Z word of the day is situationship. That's right, situationship. Now, what is a situationship, you might ask? It is a romantic relationship without an official label. A romantic relationship without an official label. Now, here's your example, so you can use it today. We're not dating, we're just in a situationship. Now, to me, this is one of the dumber ones that I've come across. And basically, I was thinking, was friends with benefits not good enough? To me, that's a situationship. Friends with benefits. But no, the young ones got to call it a situationship. Now, also, too, I got to thinking, because we got to make sure everything's about fishing here at some point. Do pros who are sponsored by one bait company but Coleman, you dislocated your knee? Oh, dude, I'm sorry, man. I hate to hear that. Um, that stinks, dude. Uh, Basically, people that are not on Facebook official so they can roam online. Okay, I got what you're saying. But here's what I was thinking. Do bass anglers that are sponsored by a company, say Berkeley, but we all know after we've talked to them behind the scenes, and we all know they use other companies' bait. So they use a custom bait or whatever. They got to promote the big boy, but you know how it is. Are they technically in a friends with benefits of giving it a title? A situationship has no title, but it's the same thing, Jeremiah. But I'm wondering, can pro anglers have that? Like, say G-Man. I don't know who G-Man is sponsored by, but let's just say it is Berkeley just for this conversation. G-Man's telling you, well, I need you to buy the Berkeley X, Y, and Z because this is what I use on a Bassmaster Elites and the MPFL Tour, and this is by far the finest jig, whatever. But off camera, he goes, guys, now listen, I'm kind of in a situationship with Dirty Jigs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Is that the same thing? It's kind of a relationship that's got no title. He uses it. Is that what a situationship is? I'm just curious. All you young guys can let me know. Personally, friends with benefits seems like the thing that needs to be. So anyway, look at all you guys on TikTok. Make sure you join in the comment section right there. And you guys on YouTube, let's see where you at. Hey, it's Monday. Y'all ever had that day? It's an angler affair, Chance Smith said. Well, listen, Chance, they have them. I've had a lot of pros on the thing and talked to a lot of pros. And what they say, it's not high key. And what they say on camera is one thing. But what they do behind the scenes is another. I think there's a lot of situationships going on in professional angling. But anyway, that's why I caught my eye. I'm like, okay, but I still think it's just friends with benefits. All right, so anyway, you ever had a Monday where you just woke up? Most of the time Monday, you're like, good grief, I don't want to go work. Well, I woke up this morning and I'm ready to go. 3 days in a row of cool weather here in North Georgia. So sick of the heat. And I'm telling you, listen, yesterday, Dahlonega, Georgia, I didn't know this was a term either. Dahlonega, Georgia, yesterday set a record low high. A record low high. You don't see them talking about a bait in a tournament. Hey, I got you. Hey, there's a lot of things they won't talk about in a tournament. But a record low high of 70 degrees yesterday. And I was like, what is that? Well, the previous record low high was 73. Yesterday was 70 degrees. Today they're talking about breaking the record. That's 20 miles up the road here. So I didn't realize that was a thing, but man, it feels so good. I want to go deer hunting. That's what I want to do. Most pros have a lot of modified baits in their tackle box. 100% Rodney Hayes. Absolutely they do. But they get paid. They get paid to talk about X, Y, and Z. But their situationship with company G might not get talked about, but we all know it exists out there. All right, so guys are asking me about the kayak. So Saturday, I met Alex Purrs Aunt Sarah, and there was a couple other local guys like Tim White and Justin Reynolds and some other guys we knew. Even met some guy that watched the podcast in the parking lot, didn't get his name. But we took the kayak, finally, my own personal kayak that I own, um, and we went over the lake and the fish. Now, let me go ahead and just kind of lay it out right there. The kayak was given to me by Westbrook Supply Co. Fletch and the guys down there, absolutely awesome. You need to go check them out. Great guys. Great guys. They gave me a kayak. It's a Crescent Shoaling. Now, it is definitely designed for rivers, but you can fish lakes with it and all that. I do not have any accessories on it whatsoever. We are talking a bare knuckle kayak with a seat, and that's it. I had a paddle. No, I had a paddle. So, what's up, Dino? Got that paddle out. I had an undersized life jacket. Now, here's the problem. Alex was making fun of me. What's up, man? Here's what's funny is when that guy gave me that thing, Alex, I was able to zip it up. So I have gained some weight. Good afternoon, everyone. Shelby is a great river kayak. I have one myself. And well, I liked it. I really do. I really do like it. But it's got nothing. Okay. So, but I knew I was in trouble when I grabbed that kayak and I grabbed my life jacket. I went to try to zip it up, and oh my goodness, I have gained some weight. I have gained some weight. I couldn't even. I had to go a little squirrely on it, guys. I had it on. I had it on as best I could, but it was squirrely. And so Alex is there. He's getting in the water. Alex has got a setup. Alex looks like he's pulling up with an icon with grass and motors and all these rods and everything. I mean, Alex Purrs has a setup, boys, of a kayak. It is pretty. The first time I've seen it in person, it is pretty. Jackhammers are $20 a pop now. Hey, that's just the way it is. They probably really don't cost that much. That's just what they're charging. But anyway, so the first thing I noticed is okay, I'm only taking a couple rods and I'm only taking a couple selections of baits because I can't make this complicated. Now, see you, Coleman. So that's how we roll with motors and the electronics. Dino says, "Yeah, Dino, listen, you guys. I mean, it's jammed up, but not me. I'm on the Randy Blockett of kayaks, boys. I had it ain't nothing on there. I'm going all natural, baby. So first thing is I get it in the water, and some fellas putting in some little boat beside me. We had a good conversation, talked a bit, and I get in there, and I get in that thing, and I'm like, all right, it's a little squirrely. Now I am starting a diet. Clint's got me on a diet. I cheated a little bit yesterday, Clint. If you're watching, I had just cheat day Sunday, but I'm back on it today. I am back on it today. But the first thing I noticed is the stability. Now, it is stable, but when you're not used to it, it's going to take a minute. And I would say the first hour of the day, I spent more so getting used to. I had to paddle. First of all, let me tell you something, boys. I'm still sore in my shoulders from paddling the other day. Now, Tim White came by and he was fishing, and Tim White told me, you need to ditch that thing and jump in the boat with me. Now, I wanted to make sure I gave this kayak a full trial, so I stayed in it. But boy, I tell you what, Tim, if you watch this or later on, buddy, the way I feel now, yeah, I might should have jumped in that boat with you. Plus, he was catching fish. But the first thing was just paddling and getting used to the paddle. I don't know when the last time I paddled something was. So I got me 3 rods. I got a backpack that's sitting here just off of it, and I'll show you how I took my baits and all that. And that's it. That's it. A couple things to think. So it was a little bit windy. Now, great. First, what river were you guys on? We were on Latham Reservoir. We were on the lake right across the street from my house. From the bottom of my driveway to the boat ramp is approximately 21 seconds. So yeah, I didn't go far. So get over there, get in there. I told Alex was going to a spot. I said, I'm just going to work my way up a little bit and just try to get used to the feel of the kayak. Now, shaking side to side a little bit, guys, that was a little bit different. But eventually, I got comfortable with it. Now, I didn't have the feet thing set up for me to put my feet in there right. Nothing. Just me sitting down. I got my legs crossed. What's up, Peg Leg? It'll be different when you get a motor on it. Oh, hell yeah, John. That motor's coming. But, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And then I got up the lake a little bit and started fishing. So, and I tried some top water, and then I was throwing a chicken rig for the most part. I caught one on a wacky, but everything else was on the chicken rig. And for those of you guys who don't know what a chicken rig is, it is a weedless Nico presentation. What's up, Farmer? Um, but I'll show you. Like I got it right here. I said it when I came in here this morning. My book bag. This is what I took on the kayak with me. I didn't have one of them fancy yak attack things and all that everybody else has got. I had a book bag. There you go. I had my digital sportsman book bag, and I'll just show you. This is one. I will say this. This is the cool thing I like about the groove tackle stuff. I had my hard bait box right here. You guys can see that. Just took a assortment of Seville's and hard baits. If you're a bank fisherman or going on somebody else's boat as a co-angler, you can't beat these little groove tackle boxes. You take just exactly what you need. But it just slid right down in that, stayed dry. In here, I had a thing of worms and another tackle box full of hooks and stuff. So very simple. But I tell you, I do like the groove stuff. I'm getting ready. All this stuff in front of me is the new Spro trout stuff. And I'm taking their small jig box. I'm getting ready to set me up a box to run up to Amicalola to try to catch some trout on some of their baits and video it. Yeah, Danny got a good workout. The paddling, well, here's the thing. The paddling wasn't bad until the way back. That's later on. But got to the first spot, fished a little bit, just kind of getting used. Here's what I noticed about kayak fishing. If you know Latham, I did go to the bowling back. It was long. But here's the first thing I noticed when it comes to kayak fishing. I told Alex this. Angles. When I'm on a bass boat and I cast, I'm an overhead caster. I rarely go from the side, unless I'm somewhere I got to. Well, I went ahead and I imagined, because eventually I'm going to have that rod thing behind me with all the rods. So I made sure that I cast from the side every single time, trying to get these angles down. And that's a little bit different. I tell you what I do like about being on the kayak, skipping. There was a point where I went past the dam on the left. It would have been on my right. Got up there, and I fished the right-hand side going up, which I never fish in a boat. But to be quite honest, guys, in case I ditched it, I wanted to be close to land. You're going to want a motor for the reservoirs with a yak. The current helps you on the river. Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm going to get me one. Just got to get me one. I didn't have one available. So it is lower to the water, a whole lot of different angles. And that's what I noticed. But I could skip up under. The skipping was easier once I got the hang of it. I was going to record everything on our Insta360, but I thought I picked up a card left from Josh Friday night, and I just assumed he erased it, and he didn't. I should have checked it. I didn't, so I wasn't able to record anything. But I'm going to get back out there and record some more. But I tried to get my little camera set up. I had everything going. Now, one thing I can tell you that's going to be different to me is when I get a vest. When I get a vest, I'm going to have to get more used to keeping the rods out away from it because my rod butt was hitting that vest, that life jacket, those pockets it had on it. So that was a little bit annoying, but we can get around that. Not having a motor in the wind. Have you heard of any decent catfish out of Latham? Peg leg, yeah, you can go catch channel cat as long as your arm's all over the place. Now, if that's decent to you, that's what's in there. If you want a 40-pound blue or something like that, or a big flathead, you're not going to catch them there. But they do have some really good channel cats. But so that was a little bit different. And a 15 plus, you might get in a couple. I used to catch them that big back in the day. But the catfish in Latham got a disease about 10 years ago, something like that. Who knew catfish had a disease? 13 fishing has kayak rods with shorter butt ends. I have a few, and it made a difference for me. I might have to check that out, Ed. I am going to have to get an auto inflator when it comes to the thing. That bulky vest right there, not for me. Not for me. Now, when I get in position to actually make a cast, because I'm used to spot lock on my boat. I'm used to other things. Used to, of course, the boat being heavy. You make a cast, and by the time you finish working that cast out, you're just drifting on down a little bit. And so that was something that took a while to get used to. That was something that took a little while to get used to. Not having any electronics whatsoever, and I mean even just basic 2D, I was just beating the bank. Okay, how many times did you get blown off your spot? Every time I was in a spot, Jonah. To be honest with you, the wind was it wasn't like howling 13 to 20 miles an hour, but it was just steady enough that it would push you and you would slowly drift. Or you cast and in front of the boat, turn. So I eventually had to get the paddle kind of right in front of me and learn to make that quick little boom, boom, real quick while I'm waiting for something to sink and all that. But it was a little difficult. I can see in the river where it would be you're using the current and all that. Make sure you get a PFD designed for kayaking. Auto inflators are good, but they don't have pockets for gear. Well, see, that's the thing. I got to learn all this stuff. I got to learn all this stuff. I got to learn tackle management, all this stuff. I got to get some stuff set up. Number one for a camera. Number two for for drinks and all that. The kayak was great. The kayak was absolutely fantastic. It was just first time, and I will tell you this: I'm glad. I'm very glad I got in a river, got in a lake first, because I'm that kind of guy that's like, let's just go jump in the river and go. I'm so glad that I went in the lake because I would have been so ill prepared for fishing in a river with some serious current. And by serious, I mean any water that's moving. You know what I'm saying? Any water that's moving is serious current to me. Um, so Cam, what kayak did he get? I got a Crescent Shoaly. It was given to me. Michael Hefner that tells in a Crescent Shoaly, which is designed in and of itself for rivers, from what I've been told. Okay, we're gonna work with it. Now I don't have the one that's got the fishing platform or anything. And I will tell you this: I didn't stand up one time. I did not stand up one time. And tethering everything, Tony, that's the thing too. Like I was so scared to pull up my phone out, take a picture of that first fish I caught. You think the wind moving you was bad? Wait till you hit the river; it'll make you cuss. Yeah, it probably will. It probably will. It don't take much to make me do that. But I was comfortable until the day got going on because I had all my stuff in front of me. Didn't have my leg thing set up, so I couldn't let my legs stretch out. I need to get floats for the rods. There's a lot I need, farmer. Absolutely a lot I need. But now I'm noticing, okay, my shoulders are burning a little bit, paddling, just a little, not too bad. My legs are starting to kind of, I can start feeling it in my legs because I'm sitting a little more cross-legged and everything. Like I said, my rods are in the front of me. So definitely not prepared the right way. I think if I had all the accessories in the back and everything, it would have been far more enjoyable. Or like John says, just use the boat. But no, I wanted to do this because I got a lot of kayak buddies, and I want to experience what they experience, and I want to get in those rivers. Danny, the skinny pool noodles work great to make your net and rod full. I didn't even take a net, dude. Uh, the reason the seats are comfortable is because that is where you're supposed to keep your butt. That's right. I didn't take a net. Now I caught 4 or 5. I know I caught 4. I flipped them all. I boat flipped them. I did. I boat flipped them. Do you call it boat flipping in a kayak? Technically, is it really boat flipping? What do you call that, you kayak guys right there? But anyway, I met back up over with Alex in the spot. Alex was scoping, and he was like, there they are, there they are. That was frustrating knowing that the fish were there. Um, yep, boat flip. Okay, that's still a boat flip. I always tease the kayak guys that at some point, when does a kayak become a boat? And I do think it's when you put motor on it and all that kind of stuff. We've always had that joking conversation a lot on the podcast. You're so close to the water you can lift them. Yeah, you are, but that's the thing. Is like I still didn't have my my balance right. Not that the kayak ever once even acted like it was going to tip me over, but it's kind of like these chairs right here. When you lean back, sometimes you can get to that point. The chair is just going to go on back and it's going to stop, but you think you're about to flip over. That I experienced a couple times. Caught one right there. I caught one. I caught my three. Every fish I caught was a largemouth. I can't remember if I caught 4 or 5. I know 4 for sure. And I didn't fish till about 11:30, 12 o'clock, somewhere right in there. But I ended up catching one out there in front of Alex. Made me feel good. And I was teasing that. Alex, I think I went back and looked. There was supposed to be a dollar bet on who was going to catch the most fish. Alex, I think that was in some conversation last week. And I think, what's up, Chris Garrison? And I think, Alex, when I left, I was in the lead, son. I'm not sure. Um, we'll talk about that later. But anyway, I'm just ranting you. But ended up working some other stuff. Like I said, talked to Tim White while he was on the water. It's funny. Tim come by and he goes, "The one that got off don't count, Danny." And that's bull, Alex. You said it did. I asked you. I asked you if that counted. I was pulling up, boat flipping, it got off. And I said, "You saw it." But it counts. I asked you, man. You can't come back and change the rules. I'm just playing with you, boss. But he only caught 3. Okay, so anyway, no, we'll call it even. But it was funny, Tim White. Don't forget to send me details for the Gunnersville meet. Chris Garrison, we talked to the guys on a podcast. All of us were like, yes, let's get it set up. We're going to figure out how to do it. We will definitely, when we go to Gunnersville, we'd like a lot of guys to go. Just y'all might not be able to stay with us. I can't be inviting I'd invite 100 people to Dave's house, but he might not like me doing that. But I would love to meet as many Gunnersville guys out there as possible. That would be really cool to get together with you guys. But Tim White come by and I was fishing and I didn't even know that was Tim. And I turned around, I heard kabloosh, kabloosh, kabloosh. So I knew somebody caught one. Um, Jeremiah, let me finish this and then I'll get on your question right there. And so I turned around and I saw it was Tim and I went up to him and I went, "You dang scoper," like that. He goes, "What are you doing in that thing?" Don't go to Gunnersville with a kayak. No, sir, Rodney. We're going to Gunnersville. We're bringing the boats. We're bringing the boats. But that was what Tim said. Um, I live 25 minutes from there. Housing is not an issue. Cool. He lives right on the lake, right in Gunnersville. Um, but yeah, that was what Tim said. He goes, "What are you doing in that thing?" I felt shame. No, I didn't feel shame. It was fun. I said, real quick, Jeremiah goes, real quick, want your opinion. It's people on the fish brain app fishing in cemetery ponds, and you can see the headstones in the background. Is that disrespectful, not bothering anyone, or just creepy? If they have permission to fish, I'm going to go with just creepy. But I think, hey, look, there's water. If there's fish in it, fish it. If you're not, my father is buried in a place right up the road here from here, and it's got a couple ponds in it, but it specifically says no fishing. I can't lie and say that I haven't walked around and looked at the bank. You know what I'm saying? Just looking to see um, if I could see anything. But there are ponds in cemeteries. News to me. Yeah, they're there. But it says no fishing. I think on this one where my dad's buried at, it's just more of like for looks, But there are fish in it. Um, but I think if it's not posted, it's fine. It is just a little creepy. It's just totally up to you. Totally up to you. But anyway, what was working for? I'll tell you what was working for guys. This is what I seen Saturday. Now John, who's in the comments, was chunking his big swim bait glide baits, and I know he caught some. Tim was throwing swim baits in a shaky head, and I know he caught some. Alex was throwing, I think, shaky head. When I'm dead, I'm gonna fish every night. Then there you go, Rodney. You know what, Rodney? Listen, I'm a believer. I go to church. Went to church yesterday. I'm just a heathen. Cities of gold are nice, and maybe when I see it with my own eyes, I'll like it. But as I'm speaking right now, I wish he'd just give me a little cabin on the pond. Give me my wife and my kids when they were a good age. I don't know how to talk, but I'd like a lake. I'd like a lake myself. So I know what you're saying. I got a coworker that fishes a cemetery. There are no fishing signs, but he went and asked, and they let him fish. Hey, listen, if it's there, it's there. They'll let you know real quick. Uh, Thanks, Danny. My heaven is a lake. Well, we'll see. We'll see. You guys can have the streets of gold. I just want that river that runs through it. I just want a little oxbow, something off the side of that thing, Lord. I'll do whatever you ask. Just give me some. What's up, Isaac? Just give me that water. Give me that water. That might be something I got to earn. So I might start needing to be on my best behavior, or I'm gonna end up. You know what? With my luck, I'll make it there. They'll let me in, and then I'm gonna have to fish something that looks like Weiss. I'm gonna get a big mud hole. Oh my Lord, I come from Clearwater, North Georgia. Well, son, there's a few things that you did that were a little sketch, and you probably didn't repent of it. And I said, well, Lord, I guess you're right. But I just got to get there first. And think about the night fishing. What if I'm out there throwing a buzz bait in the dark and they come out and dance like Thriller? Listen, Jeremiah, you got to be more brave than that. Just dance with them. As long as they don't start eating on you, you're fine, son. What do you think about the sonar minnow on Lanier? Well, I think they work in the right hands. I think guys that know how to use forward-facing sonar. And when I say guys that know how to use it, there are a lot of guys with it and they can catch fish with it. I'm talking about guys that know how to use it. It's deadly. I mean, it's deadly. There's all kinds of things that are deadly in the right hands, Isaac. Me personally, I do not have forward-facing on my electric rig when I do get on the near. So the only time I experience it is when I'm on the boat with somebody else. So I'm more of a bank beater. But I've seen some guys absolutely just rip with the thing. I think fish are getting used to the forward-facing sonar, and I do too. And we're kind of noticing that by the way they're reacting in the brush piles and certain ways when you have two guys on the front of a boat. Now on the near, you best not be casting both of you casting. Most of you, most of the time when guys are doing teams like this, they know what they're doing. One guy's casting, one guy's sitting right behind him, and what he's doing, he's got a rod and he's watching the scope with everybody else, and he's either waiting to drop at the school pools or he's netting. But there's things that they're noticing. A lot of guys in the know that are noticing how the fish are reacting. But if both of you cast at the same time, those schools scatter. Isaac says, I agree with that. They act way more scared than they used to, and half the bass pay no attention. Well, we're just going to have to keep adapting. Let's see. What would allow me to keep thinking? Only thing he throws a whopper plopper. In the past 3 days, I've only gotten bit on the jig that I tied you. I ain't been bit on a jig. Danny will be a crappie fisherman in the afterlife. No, they'll probably stick me like I'll probably be a carp fisherman or something. I'm disappointed no one threw a jig Saturday. And listen, I'm gonna tell you, there was no sense in throwing it because I finally got to a spot up there where Alex was fishing, and if you know the bowl, it's in that area. I'll just say that. And John was over there as well, and so Alex goes, "Danny, come over here. This place is they're loaded." And they would come up schooling a little bit, but there was no sustained schooling that I saw. But they had seen a little bit of it. But what I was throwing a chicken rig, and I was throwing it. I guess I kept asking Alex how deep I was. Again, I didn't have any electronics. And I was throwing 20, 25 foot deep, letting it go to the bottom. And then my movement was I wasn't hopping. I wasn't doing anything. It was a slow kind of pull, drag with a little bit of shake, let it fall on a slack line, trying to keep it in contact with the bottom. But I can tell you that the large, and we were catching largemouth. I will tell you this, and John and Alex can kind of chime in on their fish, but the ones I caught choked it. I mean, choked it. And I was worried I was doing something wrong because I didn't gullet them, but man, boy, that hook was in the back. It was deep. And so, I would pull it. I'd felt that, and I'd reel down and set the hook quick. But they were getting it. They were coming up behind that thing because you got to remember on chicken rig, your hook's halfway up. And it was a 2-aught VMC Nico hook that's got the two little pieces of fluoro that stick out to hold it in place. And man, I think they were just going behind it and just sucking that thing up deep. When the wind changed direction, that top water just flat out stopped. True, I think one here and there, farmer, but primarily with shaky head and a spot choker, which is underspin for you guys that don't know what a spot choker is. But I will say this, and the color that I used, I told Tim wrong. I told him I was using a spot choker. I don't know. Let me see if I got the color worm that I was using. Hold on one second. No, I ain't got it. Um, but I forget the name of the worm that I was using for Zoom, but it was almost like a purple on top, a little bit of clear watermelon on the bottom, and it wasn't watermelon purple. There was a name to it, and it's probably sitting down there in my truck, but I'm not going to go get it right now. But excuse me. But that's what I was getting bit on. Wow. But anyway, the fishing was good. Alex helped me out. Tim ended up coming over there eventually, and he was waxing them. The new Biosta worm from 6 Cents has been great in Lay Lake so far. Yeah, this one, man, I wish I had it because I would like to show it to you. There's a couple of worms that Zoom makes. One is called Spot On, and that's what I told Tim I was using. And I was wrong. I've never been on a boat that had forward facing sonar. I'd like to see how it works. Chris Garrison, listen, it will blow your mind if somebody that knows what they're doing is showing you. It will absolutely blow your mind. And what's going to blow your mind is this: don't let anybody make you believe that hey, you see the fish and boom, it's like picking them off in a basket. That's not true. I don't care what anybody says. They call it cheating. That is not true. It's not the way it works. Can you see your bait going down? Yes. Can you see fish following it? Yes. You know what's going to make you mad? Is a lot of times you're going to see that fish turn around and you're going to be like, why didn't he bite it? It's going to frustrate the crap out of you. Where it is awesome is you'll see how fish interact with baits. You'll see the fact that, number one, fish are always moving. Number two, bait. You'll see how fast bait is going. What's up, Kevin McShann? Um, Forward facing sonar is just as fun as it is frustrating. That's what I'm talking about. Rodney Hayes says frustrating. When you hear Randy Blockett say, I said, let me read these comments where they go. Forward facings help me catch fish. Yes, it's mainly showing me how many fish don't bite. Garrison says so it's like a woman. You see her, but she ain't interested. Pretty much. That's a good way to say it, Chris. You'll learn a lot. You will absolutely learn a lot. Where I think it comes into play really cool is let's say you're fishing on Lake Lanier, everybody's throwing different things, brush piles. Brush piles down at 35 feet, but what we do normally is we'll go across that brush pile with the top water. And what you can see is them spots that are just above that brush, you can see them come up. When it's on, it's on, it's awesome. But what it will help you do is let's say those fish come up and they get to about 6 foot of water and they're not going all the way to the top. Then you can turn around and change your bait, maybe go to a jerk bait, maybe go on something a little bit different in the water column. And that's where I think it really can help the average angler. And don't get me wrong, there's some guys out there that can just absolutely, they're amazing with it. I'm not one of those. Was it the color sprayed grass? No, Fred, it wasn't. Dadgummit, I wish I'll definitely show it to you guys tomorrow. I definitely will show it to you tomorrow. It's in my truck. I think it exposed that all this time everyone's been fishing. We had no idea exactly how many fish saw all those baits and didn't bite until now. Now, Jeremiah, that's an interesting comment because when I was on the boat with Kevin Underwood the last time, and we were chucking big flutter spinners and all sorts of things. What you just said is exactly 100% true. He said, those fish know it's there. You're in their bedroom. They see it, and they may not move it, but you're not throwing that bait anywhere around those fish that they don't realize it's there. And the craziest thing is watching a fish in 50 foot of water. 50 foot of water. Kevin will throw a fluke on he'll throw a fluke on a ball head jig. I think he likes the line through 6 cents with a fluke kind of bait. Here, and he's mentioned it now on our show now, so it's not a secret anymore. But when he throws that thing out there, now we're talking spotted bass. Even in 50 foot of water, the first time one turns and looks, I mean, let's say you got 5 or 6 fish down there in 50 foot, right on top, right in the timber and all that. He throws that thing, he's just now sinking. And even if he's only 10 foot deep, the first fish that moves 100 miles an hour back to the boat, that's what he does. because that's what a blueback herring will do. Forward-facing sonar will teach you a lot about what your lure is actually doing in the water versus what you thought, 100%. And Tony, this is on YouTube, guys. Tony said, had a Randy fan comment um, on my recent Facebook video, called me a pathetic little loser because I looked down at my graph while fishing topwater. Then he told me to lose weight. But Tony, here's the thing. Number one, he wouldn't do that to your face. So you have to take those comments like with a grain of salt. 100%, I get it. I absolutely get it. But it's calling you a pathetic little loser. So that's the thing. Is like you'll hear Randy go, guys, it's just we need to have these civil conversations where we can agree to disagree. But then he'll turn right around and say, but these guys, these flat brimmed whatever boys that got their umbilical cord tied to their forward facing sonar. And so he basically is doing the same thing. He's like, that's what we shouldn't do. That's why I think he's an ass. I mean, that's 100%. I think if he would change the way he presents his argument, he might actually get people to respect it. But number one, knowing that he's only doing it for money, and number two, that kind of crap. That's why I just cannot. And you know what the bad thing is? The bad thing is that's what his followers have started doing because they see Papa Bear up there, Papa B up there saying this. Well, if Papa B can say it, I'll say it. And it's just pathetic. I've had people say it's just because you can't afford forward-facing sonar. Well, listen, you're right. I mean, a lot of people will say that, but I could go get one. I just don't. I probably should. I don't. What's up, Geiger? Glad you got to show up. But see, here's the thing. Is Alex was telling me. Here's the thing. Alex was sitting about 70, 80 feet away from me in his kayak. And he goes, Danny, there are 4 big ones between me and you at about 50 feet. I took that chicken egg, and I'm blind, and I just chunked it over there about what he was talking about. Shepherd leading the flock. That's what it is. And listen, if you're against forward-facing sonar, I don't mind. You do you, bro. I don't mind. But it is what it is. So anyway, then Alex, I'm sitting there over there on the kayak. Alex goes, they're watching. Yeah, that's right, Chris. I know you're not knocking it, buddy. I know. Yeah, just don't knock it until you try it. The problem is there's some guys like that can't think for themselves, and they got to be on the tit. And that's just the way they are. And it is legal. Now, but Alex goes, they're following it down. They're following down. And guys, I'm over here on the side of the kayak going, come on, thump. Come on, thump. Let's go. And then Alex is like, they swam away. And I did everything right. It's not video game fishing like the way they make it say. It is easier to see fish, 100%. See, he said they all followed it down. That's what I'm talking about. So Alex is over there watching the fish following my lure. I can't see it. And I'm like, that is so frustrating. Let's see. Same issue with the guy we were texting about earlier, Danny. His Facebook group has set an example of how not to handle fish. Yes. Listen. You ain't going to make everybody do it perfectly. I can promise you that. That guy can just go get his teeth kicked in at every derby then because it's going to get to the point if you're not scoping, you're hoping. I get it. I get it. Now, I will say this. I don't agree with Randy Blockett much. But it will. At first, when the NPFL banned it, I was really ticked because a lot of the guys have been on the show. Plus, Trip Palmer, Sonar Pros is my sponsor, and I did not like the way it went down. That said, since this year, I will say this. I enjoy watching guys without it. I enjoy watching guys with it. If Bassmaster or MLF, if they wanted to all ban it across the board and just let the guys go on pure talent alone, I'm fine with that. Either way, it doesn't matter because if I'm being honest, I don't watch a ton of bass fishing tournaments unless I know the guys that are in the lead or I know a camera is in a boat with a guy that I am friends with that's been on the show. I'm not going out of my way, and we talked about that. I think the Bass Track thing they got now, I think that keeps me from watching it when all I got to do is I'm sitting on the computer doing emails, and I pop up and I look over, and I see this like Robert Blesky. All right, Rob is sitting in – Rob's in 25th. He's in 25th place. And I go back to working. I want to watch them fish on TV the exact same way I will be fishing on the weekends. And if they're doing that 100%, what's up, Atlanta Safe House? People used to knock the flashes when they came out in the 70s or 80s. If you remember, Chris Garrison, those were going to ruin fishing. And then came your paper graphs, and those were going to ruin fishing. And then it came to 2D and all that stuff, the electronic side scan. It's going to ruin fishing. It's going to ruin fishing. It's going to ruin fishing. It never, ever happens. Okay. I would like to see it go because it benefits the way I like to fish. But that's not fair to everybody else that have molded the way they like to fish to the technology. These young guys, I saw an argument last night on some video I watched where the guy was talking about you're trying to grow the sport. And kids today are used to technology. Kids today are used to technology. You've got them on the water. You've got them on the water now. They're doing it, and you want to take away what got them interested in it. Okay, I'm telling you, kids today, their attention span is that of a gnat. And if you ever just capture them, you got them, and you're going to keep growing the sport. And I don't care nothing about this. They got to have time on the water, stuff like that. All right, that's like saying Ronald Acuna shouldn't play baseball when he was 19 because he hasn't been in there or been All-Star because of whatever because he ain't been there 20-something years like somebody else. So, you know, there's just ways. But if the pros were away with it, I'm okay with that. I could really care less. I don't think the sport is dying. I think there's so much competition. See, Rodney, I think there's so much competition now for everybody's attention. It's why certain things may look like they're dying. Okay? That's just, I mean, like you take a typical Saturday afternoon, especially here in another 5 weeks. You know, baseball, you have fish, you have some kind of stock car, you have football. There's so many different things. Hey, you don't like that? You want to watch some guy cook a turkey on another channel? You can do that. If you're in the news, you can do that. We ain't even talking about whether you want to get on YouTube or anything like that. Golf viewership dipped when scores were easy to follow on phones too. Social media is going to ruin it. I get that. $2,000 John boat set up or $100,000 boat. Just go fish and have a good time. All that matters. 100%. Oh, had to throw a drop shot, Cletus, on and Tony did too, on Carter's and Widowie. I said it right for you one time. One time, Tony, it's Widowie thrown out. I didn't put the drop shot. I'm telling you that chicken rig, I threw it just because I wanted to do it for audio is getting funky muted. Maybe I hit something. Audio is bugging for me. I might have hit something loose. Hold on. How about now? Is that better? I think I might have pulled the mic loose. You guys let me know. Just in the comment section. I'm sitting here playing with the mic, so I might have just took something loose on it, but I think I just hooked everything back up. Try it now. That's better. And that's what happens when you sit here playing loud and clear. I'm sitting here and I fidget with my hands. Sounds like you're under my 10 times better. What I did was I unplugged it right here. I hate this little button. You think I know better. My bad, my bad. Which leads to my next question. Because I want to know this for two reasons. When you guys watch content, okay, and you're watching your content now these days, quit yanking cables, Danny. I know, man. My bad. I do what I can do. I got to do something with my hands. That's what my wife gets. She's always annoyed. I tell her my love language is touch. They got the 5 love languages. You ever read that book? Mine is definitely touch. I'm a touchy feely guy. How do you guys watch your content, whether it's fishing or whatever? Do you watch it solely on YouTube? Do you go to the Outdoor Channel, Waypoint TV? Do you watch anything like that? Are you getting all of it on Facebook, TikTok, mostly on the phone, on YouTube? Okay, that's fair enough. Here's why I'm asking. YouTube and Reels, Atlanta Safe House. Here's why I'm asking. Because, we have a TV show on Waypoint. We have a TV show on Waypoint. Now, ours, MLF app, Curtis Burrow says, freeze one, YouTube and TikTok. Okay, I got that. All social media and YouTube on the phone. My hands are not going under the table. I try every platform. Any additional info is a plus. Now, our TV show's on Waypoint. Okay, and as we move forward as content creators, we realize a lot of stuff ain't going to fit on a TV channel. Now, our TV show is not a pure 30-minute cast and catch TV show. So it is more entertainment kind of based up. But like for informational stuff, I think pretty much YouTube and your streaming kind of things are the way to go. And it's just I'm curious about that because we have to make decisions in the future on what we want to do. Minimal commercials and interruptions. I get that. I get that. And is it because that Steven Sturgeon? Is it because you pull up a YouTube video and you don't have as many commercials? Uh, I sounded like I was podcasting from inside the live well with a bubbler. YouTube is the number one thing I use because we could really emphasize and put everything we create solely on our YouTube page, but does a 30-minute TV show work on YouTube as opposed to watching other guys, something else. YouTube has too many ads if you don't pay the extra fee. Some on Facebook, but it's too much drama. They used to watch outdoors and hunting channels, but you can YouTube, uh, but you. I'm trying to read that comment. I get what you're saying. What's those? It was a guy had a hunting thing, and what he was talking about is he was talking about sponsors, and he's like, he just doesn't see the TV thing being around that much longer. I've been seeing a lot of kids around my age taking these healthy baths in the stores and places for pics. Yeah, I know. I don't agree with that. But I'm an old fart. If I said that, that's what I'd be called as an old fart. Um, but I was just curious when it comes to that because we have to make a decision. Do we want to try to keep a TV show going on Waypoint or the Outdoor Channel, or do we want to take all our stuff and make it on YouTube? And then what plays on YouTube? So this is my next question, guys. When you're watching YouTube, are you watching 5 to 10 minute videos? Are you watching 10 to 30 minute videos? What's your attention span on YouTube? I stopped live TV services when football was in the off season. Prices got ridiculous. Missed the $99 bundles for TV and internet, and it could be a cost thing. That's exactly right. It could be a cost issue. 100%. I used to work. I used TikTok at work and TV at home. YouTube TV or YouTube for an hour or more. Free one. I used to watch a lot on the Outdoor Channel cable TV. It got expensive to keep those things. Streaming is the way I watch. You guys do realize that we could start our own streaming channel. It don't take much, and you can have your own network. And here's 10 to 60-minute videos if I'm learning something new on YouTube. So that's the thing is we're really not teaching you that much. We're just trying to entertain you. I usually keep a stream up on my second monitor for background noise. Cam 92 Fox says. Krista, sign you up. Uh, really like the really like after the cast YouTube videos. I think Edwin Ott and Andy. Okay, 10 to 15 minutes is a sweet spot. I've been told longer if you have a big following. 10 to 30 on YouTube. My attention span depends on the creator and the quality of their videos. Mike says I watch everything from short clips to an hour and a half, 2 hour shows. Well, some of you guys will sit here and listen to me yap for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was just very curious. Like the FNGL podcast can watch when time allows. Thank you very much, Freeze. Um, I just wonder if it's content, what the content is. TikTok is more for short attention span, YouTube for longer content. I will say this on TikTok, you got 3 seconds, and this is the analytics. You got 3 seconds when somebody's scrolling through, and you guys know what I'm talking about, to capture somebody's attention, or you're scrolling up, or you're swiping, whatever you want to call it. Cam said, I'm just sitting here at work listening to the convo going. Well, that's all it's for, man. Trying to make your day a little shorter. If I can find a good live, that is what I prefer, so I can ask questions and interact with other viewers. First 3 seconds where they scroll, 100%. 10 to 20 is great for strictly fishing content. I listen to pods for 2 or 3 hours, though. That's Clint. So you know what we want to do? We actually want to take like our live well and actually get it on a real channel and like do it live on like an outdoor channel and all that. I don't know if they would do that. They probably scare the hell out of them. Jordan Dree, I don't know. I've got 6 minute videos that's got 3,500 likes and I've got some 500 plus comments below. But yes, 99% is 3 second stuff. First time here and I'm hooked, Lev. Well, I appreciate it, buddy. Absolutely. We're hooked on you too. We like it. Um, as long as I'm learning something, I'm interested in watching it. And it depends on the age group of the audience as well. Older folks have a longer attention span. 100%. That's true, Jeremiah. But wouldn't it? I mean, what's that old fellow, that Pat McAfee show? Could you imagine seeing me doing a Pat McAfee show every day on the Outdoor Channel or something like that? If they would let me act like Pat McAfee, we'd probably be all right. But I don't think they would let me get away with the stuff Pat does. But it's really interesting because that's where we're at. That's where we're at with FNGO is we want to grow and expand. Guys, I want to get into hunting, the outdoors, you name it. I'm trying to work on people to get their own podcast on our channel. I want to get some striper stuff going. Uh, talk to Phil, some fly fishing. And so, like on Monday night, you got a striper podcast that I don't have to be a part of. Tuesday night, I got the live one. Wednesday night, we might do the fly fishing thing. Thursday night, I'm back with a live one. Friday night, it could be hunting night. And so, we're trying to figure out what we want to do that way. Maybe a kayak podcast, but I want it to where guys can come in here to shop and run it, and I ain't got to touch it. But also, too, when we go to recorded content, um, what about all the overlooked overlanding that's here too? Tons of camping and stuff you can add to. Jordan G, that's why we've changed the name from Fish North Georgia to FNGO because we felt like we were putting ourselves in a corner by saying Fish North Georgia, and we couldn't do all that other stuff. So we do want to get into camping and the hiking and all that. Sea outs, but that's the problem. That's the problem is first of all you got to get people involved. You got to give them a platform, and then eventually you got to pay them. Ain't nobody wanting to do nothing for free. And but it's a lot to think about. But yeah, we're going hunting season's almost here, and you're going to see a lot of hunting videos of me this year too. And that's what we want to do. Camping. Well, if I get my camping, I ain't been truly camping in a long time. I got land you can bow hunt in Roswell. Man, Atlanta Safe House, I like you more and more every day, my man. More and more every day. Not only do you have the best selection of safes and gun safes in the 4 states of Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee. Oh, there went my TikTok. But anyway, you got Bowland. I'm going to call you this evening for sure. Now, TikTok's doing its hour-long thing to where here in 4:49, I'm going to try to the more you expand your platform, the greater chances are for views. I know a guy who sells overlanding stuff just saying, oh, okay, we need to talk. Reach out to me, Danny at fngo.com. Let's talk. But here's the thing, guys. I'm one guy. I am only one guy. And somebody's got to run the store too. So we got a lot of stuff. I don't hunt because Mama said no as a kid. Y'all just bring me some of that meat. Jeremiah, I done got to the age now where you got to get out there and do it. You got time to fish. You got time to hunt. The outdoors are what keeps sane. The problem with the world go quiet in the outdoors, 100%. 100%. That's kind of what we're going to go for anyway. But it's just something. It's just something to think about. Now, we'll talk about all that as we go through the week. Now, I got one more thing I want to talk to you guys about, something that bothers me. I've been seeing a lot of commercials on it lately, and I want to know this. How many of you guys, and I'm talking to guys, mama boys need to hunt. That's right, we do. I'll come by the shop. Me and the wifey moved back from Colorado, and I want to bring our biz out here. Let's do it, Jordan G. How many of you guys use whole body deodorant? How many guys have used whole body deodorant? Because I'm seeing these commercials now where not only are you spraying your pits, the guys are spraying their junk, their feet, their backside. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm watching a commercial yesterday, and I'm seeing that old running back from Seattle, whatever his name is, I can't remember it. But he's spraying. He is spraying whatever it is right down his pants. And I'm thinking, and then there's some for women, and they put them in their places and all that. I was just curious, how many of you guys use that stuff? I have never felt the need to use it. Thank goodness my wife has never had to use it. But I'm just wondering, is body odor that bad out there? Never used it, but could come in handy during the uh-oh moment on the boat. Well, listen, that's what them dude wipes are for. Now, give yourself a courtesy wipe, that's one thing. But it's just body spray burns my junk. So you tried it, John G. You tried it. Speed stick on the pits. There you go. Is it a generational thing? Is it just something that these Gen Zers, not only do they change everything we say, but they also now you gotta smell a little bit here and there. Now, if we're being fair, I haven't been able to smell since COVID 2019. So if I stink, guys, and you're in a shop and I smell bad, just let me know because I don't know. I can't tell. But if I'll use spray powder for the chub rub. If you use soap, I'm just saying. That's what they're just trying to find something else to sell. They're running out of ideas. Another way to sell something. I was just sitting there thinking that, I don't get up in the morning and put on my arms, down my junk, in my feet. Now I will say when I wear my hey dudes, them things they need to be washed more often than I do. Yeah, it's that bad. It's a dude in here right now on the job smelling like something you serve with tartar sauce. Well, but tell him, and that could be just like he just needs to take a bath, and it's cold. Doesn't do much for my confidence down there. 100%. Now, we all, as men, every once in a while, you get that little jock itch kind of thing going, and there's a spray they sell at the store and all that. And I hit that one time. I was a little chapped. Uh, Bathe, two sprays of cologne and deodorant. That's it. Roll on for the pits, anti monkey butt for the crotch, or mentholated powder. I sweat like a fool. I get it. I get it, but are you're not using designer stuff, are you? Now, in a second, guys, on YouTube, you're going to hold on a second because I got to get over here and try to see if I can keep my TikTok rolling. Just hang tight with me. Um, I got 17. That's a time it's crazy. The anti monkey butt is good stuff. While I'm going over here, I want you gold bond for the win, 100%. I want you guys to put up some more suggestions, but hold on one second. Oh well, I lost them again. But anyway, um, I'm probably gonna hang too much over here anyway. It's Monday, and I've got a ton of stuff to do, but it is it's interesting. So probably what I'm gonna do, guys, just because I always screw TikTok up, I might head off of this one, and I'm gonna get back over here on TikTok. So if you guys join us tomorrow at 12 if you're on YouTube. If not, jump on over TikTok, and we're gonna finish the conversation over there. You guys have a good day.